You don't always have to have a reason or a theme for movement, but just moving in general is what we're going to focus on today. So looking at all of our different joints, opening our bodies up so that we can have a great day. So let's begin where we have our kneeling position. So if you're not comfortable kneeling, then make sure that you pad yourself up, or you could do this in standing. So what we're going to do is send a leg out to the side and then send the opposite hand down towards the floor. The first part of this movement is to make sure that your hips can be pushed forward without putting too much strain here at the front, because it's quite a big stretch. So if you need to just relax the bottom back a little bit, you can do that, but aiming your hips forward and then sending your arm all the way up towards the ceiling. So this is where you can stay and just take a few breaths. If you feel you want to take it a little further, we reach the arm all the way across in line with your ear and then bringing the arm down towards your side. So of course, as we're doing this, there's requirements for you to be able to kneel and to rest your hand on the floor. And, I work in a studio with a lot of therapeutic clinical Pilates, and there are many people that can't do this. So we have lots of modifications to help. If you're one of those people, send me a comment and I'll give you some ways to benefit. Send the arm up towards the ceiling, and from here we're just going to go into a gentle turn. So aiming your hand through the gap, looking behind you, and then raising the arm back up towards the ceiling. And again, as we do this movement, you are focusing on the steadiness of your arm that's on the floor. And when we wrap through, it's not such a huge wrap that you're trying to break anything in your body. You're just giving a new direction of your spine, and then back towards the ceiling. And then from there, we're going to bring you all the way up. So we're going to keep your leg where it is and bring your body up into upright position. Your foot is going to change angle every now and then, but try and keep your toes to face forward, and then lower your arm all the way back down. Hover your hand just above you, and then bringing yourself back up into your start point. So we stretched the side of the waist, and now we're working the side of the waist. And then coming back up, and we'll do one more time. So you want to land softly and you want to leave softly. So this is all about control and activation of your oblique muscles. From here, we'll hold still, put your hand down onto your thigh, and then reaching the other arm to the sky. So again, this may be where you need to stop, or if you want to go a little further over, reaching the fingers in the opposite direction, and you're going to enjoy an incredible stretch coming down the side of your body, and then bringing yourself up. So we'll switch our leg position. So aiming your toes towards the front, nice stretched out leg, and then lowering your hand to the mat. Bringing your arm up towards the ceiling. Remember to keep your eye gaze forward and not drop yourself down. And then sending the arm all the way over, lengthening into the side of your waist, and then bringing the arm low again. So moving through the joints of your shoulder and of course your spinal joints right now. We're working and targeting into the hips. So even though this is just a weight-bearing exercise, you may think there's so much going on. Send the arm to the sky, and we'll do that little turn down toward the floor, aiming your hand through and back. Now, if you know that you have something of a condition in your spine that prevents you from doing this type of movement, go just about halfway instead of sending the arm all the way through. So you may just end up looking just slightly down toward your hand and back up again. Is quite good to get the movement of rotation happening, because there's nothing wrong with rotation. It's only when we're at the end range that it's not good. And then coming all the way back up again. So from here we go down again, nice and controlled. Lay your hand down, almost like you can't hear yourself reaching onto the floor, and then coming up again. So as I mentioned, this is going to work the side of your oblique muscles on the long side, to get you up towards the top. Of course, it doesn't mean that the lower ones are not working. Everything has a job to do. Nothing is stopping working. Nothing is, or hopefully, overworking. And then last one up, stay here, send your hand down to your leg and reach over. So always good for you to have a comparison between your two sides, how they feel different to each other, because they often do. Let's go on to a hands and knees position. And then from here, we're going to send your right leg up towards the ceiling, aiming your toes towards the sky. From here, we're going to do an opening of the front of the hip. So we're going to aim your knee up to the sky and thinking of your foot going back and over behind you, and then bringing that leg all the way down. We'll do the same with the left leg, knee coming away from the ground, toes to the sky, and then opening your knee to the ceiling as you aim your foot over towards the right, and then bringing it back down. So with this movement, it's a lengthening through the front of the thigh to lift the knee up. And then we've got this lovely rotation happening through the pelvis and still focusing on a little bit of strength for the back of the leg, your hamstrings and your glutes. And again, coming up and sending it over and away. And then from there, we'll bring it all the way back down. Let's keep the hands where they are. Keep your bottom up in the air. And you're going to lower yourself down, forearms to the mat, and then raising the arms back up again. So as you're in this position, you're controlling, just like we did when we were on our side, that you are coming down with care. You're not collapsing in between the shoulders. This is a strong workout for your arms. This is a preparation for our push-up motion. And return back up into tall. Let's see if we can send one leg out behind you. Keep your foot on the floor. And then as you come down, lower and push up. You'll feel that is a slightly different strength that's required in order for you to get there, simply because we've got our leg out behind. So we don't have to do the full push-up to get the benefit of all the muscles working, all the joints working, and other leg out. You just have to get creative with how you do things so that you can manage in your own body the way that the joints are designed. One more time. Let me tell you, my triceps are having a great time with this version. And then from there, we'll keep the leg outstretched behind you. Send the right leg to join. Can you keep your body in a nice long line and then feel like your right leg is starting to hover just up into the air, and then tap the foot down, switching sides. Left leg is lifting and lowering. And we'll go another 2 times to each side, keeping the feeling of your body pressed away from the floor. And as you're lifting your leg behind you, there's not a sense of trying to go high. It's about reaching long from the front of your hip. Come back to settle, and we're going to go down to the floor nice and slowly for a count of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you should be low. We're going to take the hands just a little wider, but still close to the side of your chest. And then taking a breath out as you raise the front of the chest just away from the mat. So a little bit of back bend. And then lowering yourself down on your inhale. And then breathing out as you come up. My heart rate is pumping a little bit right now as I'm talking to you. And lowering down. So again, how wonderful that simple exercises, manageable exercises can induce an increase of your heart rate. But also taking the time now just to settle it back down again, because we don't want to be in an overloaded position. Remembering that as you're coming up, you want to feel the back of the neck is nice and long. We don't want to feel the shortening at the neckline, so that you're really focusing on the front of the chest, lifting and lowering. Now you may choose to stay there. We're going to come up even further though. So as you start to roll through, the front of the chest leaves, and then apply pressure into your hands as you come up into your full extension. So right now the tops of my thighs are away from the mat, and then coming down, kind of like that push-up we came down through a moment ago, pulling the elbows back, lowering the body down to the floor with control. And then repeating, leading the front of the chest bone high, and then pushing through the arms, keeping tone around your center to lift you up, and then lowering back down. So, when we do back bends like this, yes, of course the back is going to work, the lower back muscles, but they have to work first from the upper back muscles, middle back muscles, lower back muscles, glutes and hips, all working to support the movement so that you're not loading one area more than the other. From here, we're going to push you back up onto all fours position, tuck the knees back underneath you, keeping them just apart from each other, hands back under shoulders. And we're going to go into a rounding of our spine. So the tailbone is going to tilt under, the top of the head is going to roll forward, taking a nice big breath into the back of the body, and then breathing out as you go in the opposite direction. So aiming the tail up, aiming the chest forward, inhale, and then breathing out again as you tuck and turn. So at the end of each range, we're just going to enjoy a little inhale and then breathing out on the movement again of the spine. So with this one, really see if you can focus on keeping your arms and your legs steady and just getting the wave of your spine moving through the two sets of limbs. And that way you'll be doing a little bit more of the segmental movement of your hips, your shoulders, and your spine, rather than moving through just the bigger joints of the shoulder and the pelvis. One more time as we tuck the pelvis under and then stretch everything all the way back out again. From here, we're going to take a seat down onto your side, and we're going to go into what I call a Z sit, so one leg forward and one leg back. If that is uncomfortable, you can send this leg out to the side, or you can sit with your legs in a crossed position. Choose the variation that works best for you. It also helps if you have a dog in your lap, right? Yes. All right, so from here, we're going to send the arms all the way out and open. Similar to how we began, we're going to lower your hand down towards the floor and just go for a nice big stretch over towards the side. And then coming up, and then send it to the opposite direction. So a little wave or sort of a tree blowing in the wind might be another image you can think of. And again, over to the side, just a little lean, and then coming up, and then again, one more time over. Now you'll have to move your dog away from your lap for this next version and variation. Beep, beep, lift up, bye-bye. And then from there, you're going to send your arms out, and we're going to try and get the legs to swing around in the opposite way without using your hands. If that was impossible, of course, you will have used your hands. Let's go again, down towards the knee that's in the front at first, and coming up and over to the other side. So now instead of focusing just on the stretching, we're focusing on the freedom of movement as we go from one side and across to the other side and across. And then again, as we finish off on this direction, we'll come back into our center, hold your position, and then switch the legs again. So making the movement really work a lot of core effort to put those legs back into shape. Stay here, gentle twist towards the leg forward, and then back to center and twist towards the other direction. And again, twisting one way and twisting the other. Now, of course, you know it's going to happen. We're going to cross those legs in the opposite way again, changing over and settling in. And again, one more round of twisting to both sides. And as we do this, notice in your own body, are you twisting evenly? Is one side freer than the other? Because that is always a possibility. All right, from here, let's bring those legs around. Try use no hands again and shuffle yourself down to lie onto your back. So from this position, just checking there's nothing behind your head to prevent you from crushing the back of the neck. So we want to keep a nice long back neck. And we're going to take our body into a rolling sensation, lifting the pelvis away from the mat and then rolling the body back down towards the floor. So in these videos, I really do try and help most people's bodies do good things as you lift up and down. It's your responsibility to make sure that the moves we do are suitable for you. So if you don't want to roll your spine, you can just lift the pelvis and lower the pelvis. You'll still get great benefits for your hips and your muscles. You just won't get the segmental movement of the spine. Now, for some people, that's really important not to do. So depending on what an injury is or anything going on with symptoms in your body, just make sure that you're always taking care with what we're doing. And then resting your body down, and you're just going to bring your left knee in towards you, holding on to the top of the shin, and then send your right leg down towards the mat, nice and long. From here, we're going to pull the shin closer to you, and at the same time, you're just going to raise the top of your head away from the floor, so you're looking in towards your knee line. From here, just bringing the shin up so it's nice and level with the floor, and then a nice activation through the right leg, and we're going to raise that leg up towards the ceiling and lower it back down. I'm going to include a pointing of my toe up to the sky and a flexing of my leg down. Now, if you know that bringing your head up unsupported is not for you, you can still do the same movement with your head resting on the floor, or I would recommend putting a towel or a cushion behind the back of your head. Let's do one more time, taking that leg all the way back down towards the mat, and then reset and lengthen out. So we'll bring the right leg in, so holding over the top of the shin, and then drawing the knee closer in towards you. Really feel long through the back of your left leg, and then roll the front of your chest up. So we're going to energize your left leg as we bring the leg up towards the ceiling, pointed toe, and then flex your foot, lowering it all the way down. And again, point the toe and lift,
and flex the foot and lower. We'll go for 2 more as we raise the leg, keeping the gentle imprint in your lower back, nice and settled on the mat. Last one, and lowering it all the way down, relax the leg, and then reset back to your start. From here, we're going to bring the left knee in again. We're not going to hold on, and you're going to send the leg upward. Now, for some people, a fully straight leg is not possible. So let's start with just a little bend in your knee where you feel comfortable with your thigh rested inside of the hip socket. We're going to take this leg across the body, circle it around, and bring it back up to the top. So we'll just do 2 circles like this. And then if you feel you've got the strength to have a straight leg, keep the leg nice and long as you make it around again for 3 more circles. So 5 circles in total. And then bringing it back and rest it to the top. Again, allow the little softness of the knee as we change direction, opening it out and across the center, and returning it in. So it's really a lovely stirring of the leg bone inside of the hip joint. And then if you want to go for the straighter leg for the last 3, by all means, go ahead and do that. So just feeling the range in your body, making sure you're settled, you're not gripping in the upper body. And then resting that leg all the way down. And then we go with the other side. So right leg coming up, a little opening at the back of the knee. So not fully closed, not fully lengthened. And again, just testing the waters. First 2, nice soft knee bend. Really feeling the range that you have available inside of your hip. And then if you would like the longer lever, then go with the leg nice and stretched up for the ceiling. 2, and then 1 more time around. And then back to the start. And then again, just a little slackness in the back of the knee. Open the leg around and the other way. So just getting a nice sense of freedom inside of your hip joint. And then again, stay with that if you prefer. Otherwise, long leg for 3 more. So when you're doing the leg circles, there's a bit of movement in the pelvis, but you're not rocking around like crazy like we're about to. So from here, we're going to bend that knee, bring your left knee up to match it. Let's keep the palms open to the ceiling. Keep your knees and your feet touching, and then move your legs over towards the right side. Aim your shoulder down on the left, and then bringing your legs through the center and go to the opposite way. So we're going to include a breathing pattern today. So as your legs travel over, let's take an inhale. Feel like you inflate the left lung. And then as you exhale, bringing the legs back to the center. And then inhale, inflate the right lung. And exhale back to the middle. Now, if that's not your normal breathing style, this might feel a little challenging for you, but keep with it. Just remembering that your breathing should not be up here in your neck, but it really is nice and down low through the ribs. And then back to center. All right, stay with that version if you want. Otherwise, legs are straight up to the ceiling. Pull your toes back towards you. And again, we're going to inhale the legs across the body and exhale through the center. And again, inhale to the side and exhale to the start. 1 more time in each direction, just getting a little bit of sway, a little bit more challenging with your legs lifted up towards the ceiling, of course. And then bringing it all the way back in. Fold the knees and just have a gentle squeeze of your body towards the floor, a little bit lower. And then let's take you into a position. You can either curl forward or roll to your side to get you up. And then from here, we're going to finish with a little bit of a leg stretch. So let's take our legs into a folded position. So just one leg over the other. Again, this is not the time for your dog to be in your lap, but apparently it is. Bless you. And you're going to lean yourself forward. So sending your hands down onto the mat surface and just having a nice stretch over. So this might feel quite restrictive. If it does, you can always prop yourself up with something like a towel, a cushion, a foam roller, a pad, anything that just gives you a little bit more height. And then see if you can allow yourself to come forward again. I might have to move Bear so you can see this a bit better. Sorry, Bear. And then cross the opposite leg over. Now, hopefully you saw that I did that without hands and you were going to do the same. So you can stay at this height if this is all that you have available to you. Otherwise, you can go a little bit deeper, a little bit lower, stretching yourself out, getting deeper to the ground is really going to change the effect of the stretch for you. And then bringing yourself all the way back upright again.
So we're going to add on to the movement. Again, go at your pace. We switch the leg over again, the one that was on top, and you're going to bring yourself closer now so that you've got knee on top of knee. Now, I say that easily, but it's not always easy to get into this position. So again, if your feet are more like that, then it's better to go with the first variation. So in this variation, again, we're going to come down. Let's think of aiming the head towards the knees. So when we fold over in this position, there is quite a deep stretch for your nervous system and particularly your spinal cord. And you're going to get a superb stretch coming down through the glute on the top leg. Bring yourself up and let's switch those legs again, crossing them over, one on top of the other. Get comfortable. Know that not both sides are going to feel the same. There's always going to be something that's a little bit different. Look out for those things. And then hands go out wide, head down. And if it's too intense, you back off for a moment, lift the head, and then you bring your head back down again. And then you can bring yourself all the way up again. So from here, we're just going to finish off with a little bit of ankle work. So sending your legs out in front of you, pull your toes, push your toes. So pulling the legs towards you, pushing the feet away from you, just getting a little bit of action for the feeling of the lymphatics getting pumped back up towards your heart and your spleen. And from here, we push one away and pull the other one back. Just getting a nice stretch out through there and finish with some circles of the ankles. Maybe you'll hear a crack or two in your own body and then going in the opposite way. And then we will be done with our class today. Yep, back in the lap he comes. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, if you did, to like, comment, subscribe, and always feel free to send through any suggestions because I love making videos for the content that you like to see. Have a beautiful day. See you again soon.